Ever wondered if the questions you ask in your dreams could have real world consequences? In today's Dream Storytime episode, I unravel a haunting dream experience that left me waking up with more questions than answers. Listen in as I explore the fine line between curiosity and danger and why some mysteries are better left unsolved. Welcome to Black Girl Infinite Allure, the podcast where we embark on a journey to a beautiful life together. I'm Jay Ebony, and as a Black woman navigating the complexities of lifestyle, relationships, and finances, I'm here to share insights, stories, and inspiration. Let's explore, grow, and thrive together. Enjoy the show. Hello and welcome back to the Black Girl Infinite Allure podcast. I am your host, Jay Ebony. I am so happy that you are joining me, and I thank and appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. If our episodes have inspired you or added value to your life, I have a small favor to ask. Please subscribe, follow, like, share, rate, and review the podcast. Your support is crucial in helping us grow and spread the word. If Black Girl Infinite Allure has made a positive impact on you, the best way to give back is through word of mouth. Sharing our podcast with others not only helps us reach a wider audience, but also helps others discover the content that you've found meaningful. Remember, rating and reviewing our podcast makes a big difference too, as it helps others find us more easily. Thank you so much for your continued support and for being a part of this journey. Hey y'all, hey. Don't mind me. Happy Hoodoo Heritage Month, aka spooky season. I love this season down, I swear. It's my favorite season. I've been crazy busy. My man recently had an event that he had to attend at a local lounge out here in Providence. Of course, I trooped along to be a good sport, even though I was tired. I don't know why everybody wanted to do shots so much, but I was seeing stars by the end of the night. Like, why didn't I just say no? And then, as I thought I'm done, then some girl and her man came in and she ordered me a shot out of the blue. And we're just looking at each other laughing. And I was like, well, can't be rude. And we became besties that very night. So, hey, Peggy Boo. Um, but the night was good, even though it was pouring, raining before we got there. We came outside and all the windows were down in his truck because he accidentally hit a button on his key fob and the windows were down and we had no idea. So we didn't even know until we got out there. And I was wearing this damn white duster. And then I had like his raincoat, like, well, not a raincoat, but some type of coat over it. So I didn't get wet, but my duster and everything still got wet. I couldn't even wear it. So, and my thing was, I don't like to be cold. So I was trying not to be cold, but luckily it wasn't like by the time we got there, it stopped raining. So it wasn't that cold and it wasn't cold inside. But it would have been worse if I didn't have that. So it was crazy. But overall, it was a good night. He did his video thing with some associates, and it was good. We missed the Big E, y'all. We usually always go on the last weekend, and it worked out for a bit because we've used it as one of the things to do for my daughter's birthday, like as an excuse to go. But this year, she had a different request, and her birthday was also on the last week of the Big E, so I messed up. Y'all. We couldn't go. We missed it. Oh my God. I said from now on, we'll be planning to go to the Big E on the first weekend so we don't like mess it up. And my son was like, on that Sunday, he was like, we didn't go to the Big E. I was like, I know, next year. But speaking of which, my daughter just turned 7. We had her birthday on September 28th. She wanted a little picnic for her birthday and she called it a nature theme. It was so beautiful that day. It started out cloudy, but once we got to the park and found the one picnic table and I laid out her picnic blanket and stuff, the skies were clear and blue. It was warm out too, so it was such a perfect day. Her dad, his girlfriend, and their older sister came. She had no idea that they were coming, so it was such a nice surprise. And my man came with his dad and his niece that she plays with. It was perfect, and of course her brothers were there. She had this beautiful pink fuzzy sleeved sequin dress. She looked just like a little princess. She had a crown and a sash. I know she was feeling herself. She had a little photo shoot when we got there. So many people would stop to speak to her and wish her a happy birthday. She made like literally a bunch of little kids. Like every time I turn around, she's talking to somebody. We did the cake and the gifts and everything there. I know she felt as special as she truly is. So it was a success. We love you, Victoria. And that's it for the wellness wrap up. Now let's get into this episode. So this episode is going to be about a recent story that I just wrote. I have mentioned this before, but I have a dream journal that I keep because my dreams are crazy. They're very vivid, and I believe that they have multiple meanings and interpretations and things like that, and I try to take away from them. So I learned years ago, when you wake up, immediately just start writing your dreams down. I know a lot of people don't remember their dreams, but I dream so much. So I have to, the second I get up, I just grab my phone and I write in it. I put the date and then just everything that happened in my dream. Sometimes if I don't do it right away, I will not remember. I learned somewhere that if you wake up in the morning and you can't remember your dream, but you know you dreamed it and you're having trouble, supposedly if you lay on your back and just lay there for a minute, you'll remember. It doesn't always work for me if I don't remember. So, I mean, I'm going to keep trying. Lately, for the past probably about a year and a half, I've been having trouble remembering my dreams. And I dream a lot, and I know, and sometimes I'll have several dreams in a night, and I'm like, why can't I remember my dreams? I'm having trouble. So I just started meditating about it a lot and just asking to remember them again. And I have been over the past maybe about several months. It's been easier to remember. And it's funny because my partner always said that he never dreamed or that he didn't remember his dreams, and then all of a sudden now he's having all these dreams and remembering. I was like, you stole my dreams. You took them because I'm having a hard time remembering my dreams, and now all of a sudden you're remembering things. So he was like, what? I was like, I don't know, we sleep next to each other, so it's got to be something. But so yeah, I keep dream journals. I've had dreams where I would consider them premonitions, and we'll talk about those in later dates. I had dreams where the stuff happened afterwards. I've also had dreams that I think would be considered, what do you call that? Astral traveling or astral projection, because it was like I was there, but watching from above. It's so weird. I was floating above, and as I'm dreaming, these things are happening. And I've seen articles. I talked about it in an episode before of a dream. I've seen articles of things that happened while I was dreaming, and I kind of seen them, and then I've seen stories about them. So it's crazy. But so that's why I keep a dream journal. And there's just so many things. So it just helps me to remember my dreams and interpret any of the meanings. So the way that I got into writing stories about them is because I always would write little stories. Like when I was a kid, I wanted to write a book. And I was like, I remember I was writing, I wish I could find it. I had it saved on a computer and I was just like always adding to this story. And I remember it was called Be Careful What You Wish For. And it was kind of like inspired by like a Goosebumps book. Was like, I think there is one called that, but I had like added something else to the title. But I've always liked to write little stories. But then I was like, oh my God. So I could come up with little short stories or sci-fi stories based off of or inspired by certain dreams that I have. But I also wanted to not only just do like a sci-fi or a scary story, but to make it tie into some type of like self-care or wellness. So in other words, just like get the meaning out of it or the lesson and turn it into some type of lesson. So, and that's what I did with this dream that I had. But I also used to like to write songs and poems, all the stuff I never shared before. So I'm trying to get back into my creative bag, if you know what I'm saying. So the story that I wrote is about a dream that I had where I asked what time it is. I don't know if you are familiar, but I was on TikTok one day and I was just scrolling and people were saying, have you ever asked what time it is or what day it is in your dream? And they're like, don't do that because they're like, one, if you ask, you have a lucid dream, so you have to be lucid. And I'm always, not always, but for the most part, my dreams are lucid. Like I know I'm dreaming because if the dream gets too scary or too real, I quickly am like, I'm all set and I leave. Like I can wake myself up from dreams if I get scared. But most of the time I'm lucid. And last night I was too, and it was such a good dream. I wish I could remember. I had a hard time, like there was so much I couldn't really put it into a description or words this morning, so hopefully it comes back to me later. But last night's dream was good. But anyways, so they said if you ask what time it is or what day it is, then one, the people in your dream will attack you. Well, they'll look at you crazy and like attack you, try to kill you, whatever. Or they will look at you crazy and you could get kicked out of the dream, so you just wake up. Or they say that a danger is that because you're asking what time it is or the date, or I've read comments where people are like, I just screamed, this is not real in the dream. So you're saying these things, and then because time is not real in the dream world or the spirit world, then they know that you're a human and you're from Earth. And supposedly some of the entities or whatever in your dream may try to follow you back or come with you because they want to come to Earth because they know you're human and they want that experience. Did you hear my stomach growl? That was crazy. I'm starving. But yeah. So my dumbass, I'm like going down a rabbit hole after I seen that. And I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. I was like, I want to try it. I'm so crazy. And my man was like, do not try that. I was like, I'm going to do it. And so one night we're just chilling and gardening and I fell asleep. And in my dream, there was like this like monster thing kind of looking at me because I always have creepy stuff, I swear. So he's like crazy. It's like a dark dream and he's just sitting there looking crazy, kind of looking at me. And what is my dumb ass? What's the first thing I think of? I didn't even like think about what could happen. I was just like, hey, do you know what time it is? Hey, you know what time it is? And he looked at me. He like turned real slow with like this evil, mad look. And I was like, oh, excuse me. And he just started coming closer to me and I woke up. Like as he got close, I was like, oh shit. It was crazy. So I told my man about it. He's like, oh my God. I was like, I'm gonna do it again. I haven't done it since because I haven't remembered, like, not only be lucid, but I have to remember the question like in the dream. So it hasn't happened yet, but I'm gonna try it again. But anyways, this story that I wrote is based off of that. So I kind of turned it into a little short story, and it is on my Substack, Infinite Allure Wellness Substack. So go check out the full story. I'm going to read a little blip from it. I'm going to start with the beginning of it. And it says, Girlies group chat. Cameron. So I went down a rabbit hole on TikTok. Jace. She said the eye rolling emoji. What now? Sadie. Ooh, what was it about? Cameron. Laughing emojis. I know, I know. So I saw this one person post that if you're ever lucid dreaming, you should never ask the people in the dream what day it is or what time it is, because in the dream world, time is not real and they'll immediately know you're not one of them. You're from Earth. I saw this and I was like, what? So I started searching for more videos and other people were saying the same. Of course, I took a Spirit Airlines flight straight to those comments. LMAO. Jace. What in the actual And then laughing emojis. Sadie, I'm sorry. LMAO. What were people saying in the comments? Jace, wait, hold up. So they're saying you could get possessed by a dream demon just by asking what time is it? Sis, this is why I don't mess with none of that lucid dreaming nonsense. Sadie, for real. Why even risk it? And why are you always on Weird Talk? LMAO. I'm over here watching cake recipes and you're summoning spirit stalkers. Cameron, it's not that deep. It's just a dream, right? How real could it be? So that's the beginning of the little short story. So you gotta continue to, or you gotta go on there and read and see what happens. So she pretty much dismisses her friends' concerns and everything's like that. There's another part of the story where she has a gas station interaction and time is mentioned. So people keep giving her signs, about this. And then there's another part. I'm going to read one more part of the story. It says, in the dream, she's in a shadowy forest watching a monstrous figure twitch and contort as it turns toward her. Without thinking, she blurts out, what time is it? And just like my dumbass in real life, I see some crazy shit and I say, hey, what time is it? Yeah, so you got to read the story. But what happens next? You'll have to read the full story on the blog to find out. Just know some questions are better left unasked. So head on over there to the Infinite Allure Substack for the full experience, and the link will be in the show notes. So the main part of the symbolism and interpretation that I grasp from the dream versus like the story, like both of them, is that Cameron, well, this curiosity versus danger. Cameron is pushing boundaries and limits in the story, which doesn't always lead to good things. This can lead to unpredictable and dangerous consequences, especially in real life, right? So we have to be careful with that. I think the creature in the dream symbolizes the unknown forces or even the suppressed fears that we may face, and then the external influences that may follow us back to our own realities. So it's deep, y'all. But there was so much symbolism and interpretation in the dream and the short story. It's incredible. So it's pretty much, I think, whatever you can, like from your dreams, it's whatever you can gather what it means to you, what resonates with you, and then how you can use that in your own day-to-day life, like as a own lesson that you don't really have to go through, but you can learn that lesson. So I think that's everything for the dream story segment of this episode, y'all. So this is the part of the show where we talk about the book I'm reading or I read. This is the chapter chat. Notice I changed up some of the segment names to make it a little more catchy. So this is our chapter chat. This book is called What Happened That Night by Sandra Block. I read this or listened on Audible on February 23rd to March 4th. And so that's about 10 days. This book wasn't bad. It was about a girl, I think she was a paralegal, like me, that kind of moved to a new city for a change of scenery because of a traumatic event that had happened to her. She was raped at a college party and she was minding her own business, and all of a sudden the video of it surfaced all over the internet, and her coworkers and everyone seen it. It was crazy. This girl started spiraling, understandably. She meets a guy at her job that becomes her friend, and they are both committed to helping her identify all of the men in the video because she doesn't even know who they were. She was drugged, I believe. So he's trying to help her find who they are, and get revenge. Lord, the twists and turns and betrayal in this book is worth a read alone. And I give that a 7 out of 10. So go check that one out. So it's time for the trending tea. All right. I'm going to talk a little bit about some things going on. Tuesday, September 24th at 6 p.m. Central Time. The state of Missouri executed an innocent man named Marcellus Williams for the 1998 killing of a woman by the name of Felicia Gale. And despite everyone's efforts to step in and stop the execution, it still took place. This is a sick, disgusting world we live in. So from what I read, it was like they had no evidence showing that he was the one that killed her. The evidence they did have pointed to somebody else. The prosecutor was requesting a stay, and the family of the victim was not, they were asking for them not to execute him. What is the rush? At least you can stop the execution. They're not asking for his release, but the execution can be stopped. And I think that everyone was signing these petitions, showing up, just leaving it there. I signed the petition. I shared it. And they think they had pushed it back just a little bit and still ended up executing him. But the good thing is that he was at peace. And he was just, if it happens and this is meant to happen, it was just sad, because it's like something like this happened in 2010, I believe. My son was little, and another black man, and they pushed his back, and they still ended up executing him. And I just remember everybody was online, waiting and waiting, and they executed him. And I'm sad to say I can't remember his name, but this has happened so many times, and I hate it. But they were saying that it was single-handedly the mayor, I believe, and I wish I got his name before I recorded, but that could have stopped this, and he didn't. So, yeah. But of course, the debate stuff is still going on. Trump is embarrassing because he has the mindset and vocabulary of a 3-year-old. I'm so ashamed, and I know we are the laughing stock of all countries. So, yeah, the Diddy stuff is still going on. Pretty soon, I'm pretty sure he'll be talking, and a lot of celebrities are going to go down. And supposedly they found tunnels under his house leading to, I think, some to the Playboy Mansion, to other places. I think they were just saying that one part led to Michael Jackson's house too. This runs deep. But who did he piss off? I was watching something yesterday. Eddie Griffin, the comedian, was saying that because he sued the liquor company, that's where he messed up. He pissed off the BlackRock, and people are saying BlackRock and Vanguard. So that's where he messed up. That's why all his stuff is coming out and all that. So I don't care what he did. He deserves it. So, but, and a lot of stuff about, like, nobody's talking about the children. Like, I just keep seeing videos, and victims speaking out about how they were trafficked and they were party favors at these Diddy parties and the stuff with kids. It's so disgusting and sick. And it's crazy because I learned about this type of stuff with celebrities and politicians and all this stuff from a book that I read in high school that I actually just reread recently, which is crazy. So I've learned about this stuff a long time ago, and it's crazy that it's all coming out. And then after high school, I learned about it again on a podcast, I believe in like 2012, that I started listening to, called Sword and Scale, where he was talking about politicians and all this stuff, like trafficking kids and you know, kidnapping them and all this stuff. And I'm like, I know this stuff is true. And then now it's all been coming out, and it's so crazy. But that is it so far. I have a lot more to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it next week. But that's it for this week for the Trending Tea segment. So, you know, we can't leave you without some alert advice. So I want to say that curiosity can be powerful, but be mindful of where it leads you. Whether in dreams or in real life, not every question needs an answer. Sometimes it's wiser to trust your instincts and stay grounded in your own path rather than chasing the unknown. Okay, so that's it for this week's episode. And what's up next? In next week's episode, we'll be discussing the winter arc. It's too interesting to skip. So until then, stay well, be good, and take care of yourselves. I mean it. All right? If you've enjoyed this podcast, please take a moment to like, share, and leave a review. It greatly supports our growth. I'm dedicated to expanding our community of like-minded individuals who pursue boundless beauty in every aspect of life. Take care, and let's keep reaching for infinite allure together. Until next time. If you'd like to connect with me and join the Infinite Alert community, follow me on social media for updates, behind the scenes content, and more ways to explore boundless beauty in every facet of life. As of now, my social medias mainly consist of daily affirmations and updating you all with my blog and podcast information. You can check me out on my website, myinfiniteallure.com, or add me on Instagram and Facebook, both at Black Girl Infinite Allure Podcast, or follow me on TikTok at Black Girl Infinite Allure. For inquiries, collaborations, or to share your thoughts, email me at infiniteallurebyj@gmail.com. Thank you for listening and continuing to strive for all things infinite allure. And remember, I will also have this information in the description box.